Jared, did you take the test yet?
I did not take the test
You
yet.
need to take the test. And have you, students of the gun, have you guys taken the test yet? You're like, the test? I don't know about the test. If you don't know about the test and it's Wednesday already, you got some catching up to do. We actually, on the Student of the Gun blog, on one of our articles, we put up a test. We called it The Test. Do you have the right stuff to be a gun expert or a gun guy or a gun girl? And the motivation behind that, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into the world of Professor Paul here. I was out in the world recently, communing with other people of interest, other peers, and I ran into a person who has a YouTube channel, and I'm not trying to embarrass the person, but we were talking, and I said something about Cooper, about Jeff Cooper, and about something he said or something he did at Gunsight. And the person who had a firearms-based YouTube channel said to me, "Who's Jeff Cooper?" And I said, "All right, here's the deal." I said, "Stop right now. We cannot carry on this conversation until you," I said, "get out your phone and put Jeff Cooper into your search engine there." And I said, "You need to know who Jeff Cooper is and the significance of Jeff Cooper today. Because you cannot be in the gun community and not know who that is." And to this gentleman's credit, from that moment forward, he started asking a lot more questions and was seeking out knowledge. And that's good. That's what you want to do. But, folks, we've got an internet, and we have the internet in here 2014. Heck, we had it in 2004. We had it in 1994. But the internet has spawned 100,000 experts. Everybody with a domain name and a better-than-average understanding of WordPress is now putting themselves out there as a de facto expert in any number of fields. And in the gun field, people like you may be asking yourself, well, when I Google search or when I duck it, I put in concealed carry or justifiable use of force or whatever, and I get dozens and dozens and dozens of responses, search results. Who do I take the advice of? Because, I mean, the guy's got a domain name that is really super cool. It's a gun-related domain name. And that seems to be the race today. The motivation is, how can I get the coolest domain name? Firearms.com or guns.com or owning guns or shooting guns or loving guns or whatever. And so the novice, the neophyte, Mr. and Mrs. America, who for whatever reason in the last few years have decided that, I've never really owned a gun, but now is a good time for me to do that. I need to get one. And what do? Well, do they go to the local Kroger's and buy gun magazines? No, they don't. Because they're not gun people. They're not gun culture people. They're just people who want to buy a gun or want to carry a gun. No, they get out their tablets or their phones or their laptops and they search engine concealed carry or they search engine, whatever. And what they get...
Is that a verb now?
Yes, they search engine. And what they get can be either very good advice or poor advice or negligent advice or okay advice. And they have no way of knowing whether the advice, because they have no basis for comparison. That's like asking an 18-year-old kid goes to a formalized military training school for the first time, and they give him a survey at the end, and he says, "This is the best school I've ever been to," or "This is the worst school I've ever been to," or like it doesn't matter what the 18-year-old writes about the school, because the fact is he has no basis for comparison. Now, you talk to a guy who's been in the Army for 27 years or 12 years or whatever, and he's been to a dozen schools. He's been to 9 schools. And you say, "What did you think about this school or this training?" Well, then that guy, he's got something to compare it to. But when you're with your brand new gun owners, your neighbor Susie who confided in you that she wants to buy a gun, and she goes online and she Google search concealed carry. And it's the advice she's getting from somebody that actually has expertise in the field because of their education, their training, and their experience? Or is it just a dude who's a gun enthusiast? Well, folks, if you want to be a bona fide gun person, there's certain baseline things that you need to know. Now, we did a 20-question test. And, when I was writing the test up, it could have been 40. It could have been 50. It could have been 100 questions. But I just figured I'll keep it at 20. And some of the questions in there, Jared, you remember when I used to judge at the state fair?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Some of the questions in this test were questions that I asked to the state fair participants in the 4-H shooting sports. You guys might not know this, but if your kids, if they get involved in 4-H shooting sports and they take a project, whether the project is handgun, archery, shotgun, rifle, black powder, whatever, they can turn in a project at their county fair, and then they can be eligible to go to state, and they're judged based upon their knowledge of firearms, or whatever the project is. Take a shotgun project and what have you. And I got, basically the very first year, I got kind of roped into being a pistol judge, a handgun judge. So I did pistol for, 10 years or so up there in Ohio. And I get a lot of kids that would come in, and their projects were all worthy. But what I wanted to know is, what was their base of knowledge? What did they learn? Because that's the whole point of 4-H, is to learn by doing. So I had a battery of questions that I would ask them, and then I would and just in case, I had 10 base questions. And if I had multiple kids that got all 10 right, then I had bonus questions. And some of the questions that are in this test here, questions that I asked to the kids. So
That's funny.
But anyway, we've had people take it. We've had people take it and post their results online, post their results on Facebook and say, I took it, I got all of them right, or 19 of them right, or whatever. And I had somebody post, he wrote the questions out and the answers, and he sent them to us. And he said, I only got one wrong. And I read his answers, and he was not correct. He got more than one wrong. But what we're going to do next week is I'm going to go ahead and I'll give you the opportunity, all of you guys the opportunity, to go to studentofthegun.com, go to the blog, read it, or you can get it from your mobile app. And that's the cool thing about the mobile app, is if you open it right there in the lower right-hand corner, there's a little button that says blogs, right?
Yeah, it says blog.
You just tap it, and all the articles are right there, and you can read them from your phone or your tablet or whatever. So next week, I'm going to read the questions, and I'm going to give the answers to them. We're going to discuss them next week. So this is your opportunity to take the test right now. All right, folks, it's time to dive into the meat. And welcome to Wednesday. Today's Wednesday episode of Student of the Gun is brought to you by, not Mr. Microphone, but by SWAT Fuel, the sweetest SWAT Fuel, the sweetest supplements available. Jared actually is going to, we're doing a thing, and we hipped you to it during a previous episode. This week on Student of the Gun, or this year on Student of the Gun, this season.
He's still getting...
I'm SWAT fueled up.
Yeah, he's SWAT fueled up. He's still trying to remember that it's January of 2015
Yeah,
now.
it's January 2015. I wrote my first check of the year, and I did it right.
Did you really?
I put 2015 on
I
it.
haven't written a check yet.
Yeah.
I try not to do that very often.
I only write...
I like to accept them. I don't like to give them.
I maybe write, 3-4 checks a month? Something like that. That's good. But anyway...
Oh, speaking of January, everybody that can hear my voice, my birthday is January 11th.
Oh.
Which is Sunday. As you're listening to this, it's probably going to be Sunday. Well, it'll be Wednesday when they're listening.
It's going to be Wednesday when you listen to this.
Right, but my birthday will be Sunday. It'll be this coming Sunday.
But they'll hear this before your birthday.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
My birthday, Jared Markle's birthday,
is
January 11th.
Don't give them too much information. They'll steal your identity.
Oh, okay.
All right, why don't you tell them about the Get Fit in 2015 winner, since you didn't do it.
Yeah, I forgot to do it in part 2. But you know what? They're here for part 3, and if the winner is not here for part 3, then they're not really a winner. So the winner of the Get Fit 2015 package is Ryan Hepfer, and I need you to email me your info so we can get that sent out to you, Ryan. And you have to use it. You have to use it, and you have to post pictures.
What did he
stuff
win?
Too.
What is the Get Fit in 2015 package include?
The Get Fit 2015 package includes, I know it's the Student of the Gun, actually a Fight You shirt. I didn't forget that.
Okay.
Fight You shirt.
Give him a Fight You shirt.
And then it's got the 1 bottle of each, 1 bottle of 9mm, 1 bottle of 9mm plus P, and 1 bottle of 40 cal multivitamin.
And an extra large. I think we just have XL SWAT shirts.
SWAT Fuel shirts?
Yeah, we have XL, so if you don't wear an XL, I don't know what to tell you. Give it to somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
But
and
shirt, hat, stickers.
Like a little USB thing for your car.
USB charger.
SWAT Fuel wristband, a SWAT Fuel hat.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said hat. Oh, but a whole package of super cool SWAT Fuel stuff so that you can get fit in 2015.
Stickers. Do they have stickers?
I think there's a SWAT Fuel sticker in there, too, yeah.
But I don't have any SWAT Fuel stickers.
I don't know what to tell you.
Are there any in the back of my monitors?
No.
No,
I'm
I
looking
don't
at
have
your
one
monitors.
then.
You don't have them. Wow, that's messed up. So, now, continuing on with the SWAT Fuel deal, what Jared's going to do this year, this season of Student of the Gun TV, is we're going to do fighting fitness tips on the television show. And what we're going to do every Wednesday on Student of the Gun Radio is Jared's just going to give us a real quick fighting fitness tip brought to you by SWAT Fuel.
Am I supposed to do that today? And we're starting that today?
Oh, we can do that if you have something on your mind.
I mean, I could come up with something.
If you don't, while you're thinking over there, I am going to remind you guys of this. We're doing 2 SWAT Fuel promotions this year. We're doing the Get Fit in 2015, which we just did. Congratulations, Ryan. And we're also doing a year's worth of SWAT Fuel. But the year's worth of SWAT Fuel is for our grad program members. And here's what you have to do to be eligible. Well, you have to be a grad program member. And if you are a grad program member, you need to, this month, during January, from January 1st to February 1st, you need to post pictures online on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
I'm gonna do this right now while I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna create an event called SWAT Fuel, whatever.
SWAT Fuel Challenge.
Yeah, SWAT Fuel Challenge. I'll create an event. That way, it's gonna be on Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook, I guess that sucks. You need to get on Facebook, and you can post all your pictures in there.
Okay, so you need to hashtag it SWAT Fuel Challenge and then share it with us, Student of the Gun. And per Jared's rules, you got to post a minimum of 2 pictures per week to be eligible.
2 out of 7. That's like not that much.
That's right. You should, if you're taking the challenge, you should be working out at least twice a week. You should be working out 3 times a week. But put those up there, and when you do that, come February 1st, Jared's going to take a look at them and see who actually is in on it. And let me see. I just put in SWAT Fuel Challenge. And it looks like Chris Ellis, Rhino556, John Fry, and some guy named Dan Olesnicki. Some guy named Dan Olesnicki is involved in it.
He can't win.
I don't think Dan's eligible. But congratulations, guys. We got people that are on it. We've got people that are taking pictures of their treadmills, taking pictures of their scales, taking selfies at the gym. Oh, this one dude, John, is at Planet Fitness. I mean, unless there's another.
Are people scared?
He's got the Bane mask on.
They allow that there?
I can't believe that. I cannot. I believe that Planet Fitness would allow you to work out with the training mask on.
So
I think it would scare them.
While we're talking about that, I have found out that they're a judgment-free zone. You're not allowed to judge the pansies, but you can judge the warriors. That's what it is, because
the staff can judge.
They're judging you on your grunting or your dropping weights, and trust me, I know for a fact because I personally did it. Dropping weights, they barely have to touch the ground. It's not like a clank. It's just a very slight noise, and then they ring that stupid lunk alarm. So you're not allowed to judge the people that are weak because it hurts their feelings.
But you can judge the people
that are
actually trying, that are actually working out.
Here, fighting fitness tip this week. Don't get a membership at Planet Fitness.
There you go. There's your fighting fitness. If you're serious about it, and here's what we're going to get, Jared. People are going to say, oh, but it's so convenient. I can go after work.
Planet Fitness doesn't have anything that you can't really do you can do more benefit for yourself, with body weight exercises than you can going to Planet Fitness. It's the truth.
Yes. And Jared's going to be teaching you some of that stuff during the upcoming season of Student of the Gun TV. And speaking of which, Jared mentioned it last, but I'm going to mention it real quick, and then we're going to move on to the meat of the subject. Student of the Gun TV, this year, we're expanding our outreach to you because we understand that app television, and if that's a new term to you, congratulations, you just learned it. App TV, you're like, well, what's app TV? Netflix is app TV. Xbox Live, Xbox Video is app TV. Roku, Apple TV, Chromecast, AT&T Uverse, Amazon Fire TV. That's app television. And folks, I know some of you guys still have you have record players, you have turntables, some of you still have VCRs, some of you still have 8-tracks, and that's great, but that's not the future. And the future of television is app TV. It's not broadcast. It's what they call narrowcast. We've been researching this for we've been researching it for a couple of years, and our research has increased over the last year. And what we've found that whether it's dish or direct or cable, their subscriberships have been going down and down and down and down, like every year for the last 5 years. And the reason that is because you, the TV viewer, the student of the gun, you want to watch the shows that you want to watch whenever you want to watch them. You want to watch them on demand. That's why you're listening to my voice right now, isn't it? Because you want to listen to it whenever it is that you want to do that. Whether it's 11 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning or in your car or on a Wednesday or a Sunday or whatever, you want to watch it when you want to. That is the world that we live in. And if you can't access the information when you want to access it, then the information is useless to you. And that is what we're doing with Student of the Gun. We're making our material, whether it's radio, whether it's television, whether it's articles, whatever it is, we're making it available to you, the student of the gun, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And Jared has been working very, very hard behind the scenes to develop a dedicated Student of the Gun television channel. So not only are we going to control the production of the material, we are going to control the distribution of the material as well. And we're pretty excited that you are here with us.
I was just going to say,
you're taking this ride with us.
Yeah, I was reading the New Year's letter that Dad sent out to the subscribers, and I didn't really realize how much we had accomplished last year, but we really did a lot. We went from, I don't even know. We just did a lot.
Well, I mean, we started out with
I don't want to get into the whole
one
thing,
radio show a week,
yeah,
and the TV show 1/2 hour per week, to increasing the radio, doing the mobile app. Now we're increasing the distribution of the television. It's going to be all of you guys who are age 30 or age 40 and under. You know, I'm in my 40s and I use the Xbox. But if you're 30 or 20 or what have you, and you're listening and you have Xbox Live, we're going to be there. We're going to be on your Xbox. We're going to be on your Apple TV, on your Chromecast, on your Roku. That's all coming up, and that's actually in the process of happening right now as we speak. So it's pretty exciting stuff coming up on Student of the Gun.
We couldn't. What my point was that we couldn't have done it without them. You guys have allowed us to grow to the extent that we did over 1 year period of time. And if you didn't get that letter, kind of explaining what we were able to accomplish because of your help, go to studentofthegun.com, sign up for the newsletter. And you will get those emails. You'll get the updates. You'll get deals. You'll get letters from Dad. Sometimes the mood strikes him, and he gets a cigar and some coffee, and he likes to write letters.
That's right. I sit down, I light a cigar, I get a cup of coffee, and I write you a letter. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the price that you pay to be a registered gun owner. Remember, we mentioned this, that Hollywood likes to project this image, in New York, likes to project this image on the world or the entire country, that they foster this lie that every American gun owner or every gun in America is a registered gun. We talked about this previously. Every time you see a television show or a movie, they always like, was the gun found at the scene registered? Was it a registered gun? Because in Hollywood's mind, everyone in America who owns a gun is a registered gun owner. Now, what exactly does that mean? That means, well, that you're seeking permission from the government to own the gun. You're like, oh, bullcrap, Paul. When you fill out a form, 4473, that's getting permission. Okay. Do you have to buy your guns from a gun dealer and fill out a 4473? Well, yeah, you have to. It's the law. Or are guns lawfully owned property? If I own a firearm, if I own a shotgun, a rifle, a pistol, whatever, and it's my lawfully owned property, can I sell that to you? You come over and you're like, hey, man, I know you've got that Remington 870, and I was thinking about getting one. I'll give you $300 for that gun. And I say, okay, I take your $300 and I sell you the gun. Is that lawful? Well, yeah, unless you live in a slave state. Unless you live in a communist republic, that is completely lawful. That is me transferring my lawfully owned property to you. And if you don't think that's right, if you're listening to me right now and you're like, oh, I don't know about that, Paul. I don't think people should be able to sell guns to other people. Why? Why do you think that? Because that's going to cut down on crime. That's going to cut down on murder. That's going to cut down on theft and violence. So restricting your ability to transfer lawfully owned property from one citizen to another is somehow going to make the country safer? Or is it going to make you a more restricted slave? Now, this story comes to us from the WashingtonTimes.com. Gun owners fear Maryland cops target them for traffic stops. Stories pile up, but police say searches are legal. And this is actually, this goes back to a story that we had on Student of the Gun a year ago. It says 1 year ago on this New Year's Eve, John Philippitis of Florida was driving south with his family on Interstate 95 when the Maryland Transportation Authority police, those are the people that police the tunnels and stuff, if you remember the story, pulled over his black Ford Expedition and proceeded to raid it with his twins' wife and while his twins' wife and daughter looked on, separated in the back seats and in different police cruisers. And the officers were searching for Philippitis' Florida license, palm-size Keltec 380. It says Keltec 38 semi-auto, but Washington Times people don't know anything about guns. It's a 380 ACP, which he had left locked at home in his safe. Maryland does not recognize handgun permits issued by other states. So how did they know this dude had a gun? Well, it turned up that he was stopped, they say, for speeding. And when they ran his plate, it said that he had a Florida concealed carry permit, and that information was linked to his driver's license information, which is what you get when you run somebody's plate. You get the owner's information. Now, the incident gained national attention, and Mr. Philippitis went on multiple radio programs to describe in detail how scared and outraged he was and so forth. You're like, okay. So that happened, and we know that happened. But what's been going on ever since? It says the stories are accumulating. John Tonneson IV of Lake Worth, Florida, was pulled over and arrested after a search of his work truck by the same officer who stopped Mr. Philippitis, who he turned up his .45 caliber Ruger licensed in the state of Florida. He doesn't believe the stop was coincidental. It says it was unloaded and stuffed into a bag far from me, said Mr. Tonneson. He said the scanners in Maryland scan every tag. Florida is one of the target vehicles. We talked about this. Jared and I talked about this last year when this happened, about how due to the, Department of Homeland Security's super high-speed vehicle or photo identification, what they do is they take a photo, an instant photograph of every vehicle entering these tunnels up there in Maryland. And then it's kind of like, you know how if you have Facebook and you put a picture up and it recognizes it as a picture of one of your friends? And you're like, how can it do that? Well, that's the same technology that you use. So here we got another guy who's pulled over, and he has an unloaded gun, but he's arrested for that. It says MDTA denies it targets out-of-state gun owners and noted the review of Mr. Philippidis, blah, blah, concluded that officers did nothing wrong. Well, as a former police officer, let me tell you what. I read the entire report. I read actually 2 different reports on this, the victims and the police report. And these heavy-handed Gestapo tactics are bullcrap. And I can't say what I really think because this isn't the bonus hour. But, folks, it's bullcrap. It goes on to say that their otherwise law-abiding citizens are being arrested and yada, yada. It's a waste of time and money. So here's the question that I have for you is, are you continuing to travel into states that are not only don't respect your concealed carry permits, but are openly hostile towards you? And you say, so what are these 2 guys' crimes? Are they're rapists, felons, drug dealers, smugglers? You know, what is their crime? Why do we need to jack these guys up and toss them in the clink? Well, because they committed a minor traffic offense, and we found, well, number one, the Philippidis, he didn't even have the gun, but they were demanding to know where the gun was. What was their probable cause to believe that there was a gun in the vehicle? You may ask that, and I would ask that too. If someone has a concealed carry permit in another state, is that probable cause to search a person's vehicle? Well, maybe in Maryland it is. All right, step number 1, stay out of Maryland. Step number 2, if you are a free person living in Maryland, or you're not free. If you live in Maryland, you're not. But you're desiring to be free, leave Maryland. Go away. This is what happens when you get your name on a list of registered gun owners. Okay. Now, Jared, are you over there on the other side? You ready to hit me up with some slave music? Because we're going to move right on, keeping in the same vein, but we're going to talk about some northern slaves.
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see.
All right, all you hip students of the gun, you know that is Puddle of Mudd Control, and that is our slave state update theme. And what do we say about living in a slave state? Eventually, they're going to get you. They are going to get you until you decide that you're going to fight back. Paul, I did fight back. I vote once every 2 years. That's how I fight back. Well, congratulations. How's that working out for you up in the glorious People's Republic of New York? And this story comes to us from theamericanthinker.com. Guns confiscated after man seeks insomnia treatment. January 2nd, 2015. In the old Soviet and East German police states of the Cold War, police kept secret files on scores of common people. Information was fed to police by thousands of clandestine sources, and a seemingly banal or routine interaction with nearly anyone could lead to a surprise knock on the door by the authorities. During the late Soviet era, communist leadership moved away from the executions and purges of Stalin's years and began to increasingly rely upon medical professionals to diagnose enemies of the state as insane. Thus, a routine trip to your doctor could lead to a visit from the police. Although the Cold War ended nearly 2 decades ago, a lawsuit filed December 17th in U.S. District Court of Rochester, New York, alleges that such heavy-handed police state tactics are presently being employed by Governor Cuomo's New York. In Governor Cuomo's New York. The suit, filed by attorney Paloma Campagna on behalf of plaintiff Donald Montgomery, alleges that New York State Police ordered the permanent confiscation of Mr. Montgomery's registered handguns after he sought treatment for insomnia. The confiscation was ordered under Cuomo's SAFE Act gun control laws. Okay, check this out. The allegations in the case are downright scary. The complainant contends that Montgomery or the complaint contends that Montgomery, a Navy veteran and retired police officer who rose to the rank of detective sergeant during his 30-year career, voluntarily sought treatment for insomnia. And for all those of you who went to public school in the last 20 years, that means an inability to sleep. Sought treatment for insomnia at a hospital on Long Island in May of 2014 after relocating to a new home several hundred miles away from his previous residence. According to the suit, the hospital diagnosed the plaintiff as mildly depressed. Well, let me tell you what. You go 3, 4, 5, 6 days with a lack of sleep. Hey, Jared, have you ever been forced to not sleep?
Yeah.
And how did you feel after a few days? Were you a little bit grumpy?
Yeah.
Were you a little bit annoyed?
Grumpy,
Were you a little
annoyed,
bit angry?
delusional. Yeah.
Yeah. Sleep deprivation is a serious thing. When your brain does not get enough rest, you get loopy. All right? So it says they diagnosed him as mildly depressed, and his clinical evaluation stated, patient has no thoughts of hurting himself. Patient has no thoughts of hurting others. Patient is not having suicidal thoughts. Patient is not having homicidal thoughts. And there is no evidence of any psychotic process, mania, or OCD symptoms. Insight, judgment, and impulse controls are good. The suit further alleges that a psychiatrist told the plaintiff, I don't know why you were referred here. You don't belong here. Nonetheless, the suit contends that 5 days after he was discharged from the hospital, the local sheriff's department showed up at his door and seized 4 registered handguns, including his former duty sidearm, after the sheriff had been subjected to a repeated pressure by the New York State Police, who claimed that Montgomery had been declared mentally defective and had been involuntarily committed to a mental institution.
You remember when Dan was down, Dan from SWAT Fuel?
Yeah.
You remember when he introduced me to the electronica dude that does electronica music, Bogglesworth?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dan gave him an assignment of something to put in a song. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dan wanted this certain thing, and I'm gonna see if the audience will recognize it. Dan wanted Bogglesworth, it's his name, Scott, to put this certain thing in the song. And the song's called Insomnia, so I'm going to play it real quick because it goes along with the basis of it. But I want you guys to listen closely to the beat and tell me if you recognize what was put in there. Okay, I'll stop it there. Did you know what it was? Don't say it out loud because I want them to guess.
No, the answer is no. I don't know.
Okay.
You totally caught me off guard. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, I caught him off guard. Maybe I'll catch you guys off guard. If you know what that was, go post it to our Facebook or something. Let us know what it was.
Okay. So, keeping with the story, the suit alleges that he was, according to the New York State Police, this poor guy who went to the hospital to seek treatment had been declared to be mentally defective and involuntarily committed to a mental institution. Thus, what is that? That makes him ineligible to be a firearms owner. And you're like, well, how in the world does somebody who goes to a hospital for treatment, how does that end up with the police having his name and him being sought out? How does that end up with sheriff's deputies on your front doorstep? You go to the hospital, you get treatment, you get released, you go home. Next thing you know, there are cops on your doorstep saying, we have a warrant. Or do they even have a warrant? Do they need warrants in New York anymore? Or can you just break into someone's home and take their lawfully owned property? And they say, we know you have guns and we are here for them. What did we find out during the Buffalo Dead Man gun search? That not only are they taking the registered handguns, but any firearm owned by the deceased? Folks, this should scare the ever-living crap out of you. If this does not get your attention, I don't know what's going to. And in the complaint states that Montgomery's 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 14th Amendment rights were all violated. It says last year Cuomo publicly stated that extreme conservatives, what is an extreme conservative? Somebody who actually believes the Constitution, namely gun owners and opponents of abortion and gay marriage, have no place in the state of New York. In other words, they are enemies of the state. Folks, when you have a governor that is using the state police to harass law-abiding gun owners, you have a condition of tyranny in your state. Do you understand that? And given that fact, this is not the first time you're like, well, Paul, that's one isolated incident, and it's just I just don't think you can judge the whole entire state based upon one isolated incident. No, it's not one isolated incident. Here at Student of the Gun Radio, we have showed you, we've told you, we've reported on numerous instances where the police state in New York has deprived people of their constitutional rights, where they've confiscated their lawful property, where they punished gun owners. We had the doctor who used a gun to drive a burglar out of his home, and instead of arresting the burglar, they arrested him for being in possession of an unregistered gun. Well, the gun was registered, but not to him. So they arrest him, not the guy who broke into his house. We've got Buffalo, New York. We've got a chief of police who thinks it's a good idea to cross-check registered gun owner names with death certificates to see who died and had guns, and go to their house and confiscate them. We got NYPD that's just that, that shoots people on the streets and says, oops, you shouldn't have ought to been standing there. And, the New York State Supreme Court says that they're not held accountable or responsible for that. We've got New York City Transit Authority cops watch a guy get sliced up and stabbed to near death on the other side of the door. Don't help him. And the New York State Supreme Court says that they have no duty to intervene and protect you as an individual. Yeah. We got that. So, folks, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. If you are in the state of New York right now, you are living under a state of tyranny. You are in tyranny right now. But it's comfortable up here. But I'm comfortable in my home. I have a job. I have a whatever. The leaves are pretty in the fall. Hey, rock on. But this is still the United States of America, and it's not East Germany. They haven't put up the fences yet in the machine gun towers. You still can escape. Or you can choose to fight. But I'm sorry, folks. Voting once every 2 years is good. That's nice. But if you think that is the extent of your civic duty, that is why you are in the position you are in right now. Maybe you could be like the Connecticut gun owners and just get in line and line up to register your property. Line up to become a registered gun owner. How's that working out for all of you guys? How's it working out for you? Now, we've got some good news, and we're going to go out to the West Coast, to the glorious People's Republic of Washington State. And this story comes to us from the source is ammoland.com. And the story is SAF, that's Second Amendment Foundation, lawsuit challenges parts of I-594. How about the entire thing? How about not parts? How about hell no, we won't go? How about that? All right, Arizona. After the sweeping gun control labeled as gun safety and background checks initiative was passed in Washington State, many speculated that it would quickly be challenged in the courts. They were right. The Second Amendment Foundation has picked up the ball and is running with it. Lawsuits against infringement of the Second Amendment have become something of a specialty of theirs. Second Amendment Foundation. Gotcha. So essentially it's this. We've got the Second Amendment Foundation today, and the dateline is dateline is January 2nd for this story. Second Amendment Foundation filed a lawsuit in Federal District Court of Tacoma, Washington, seeking a permanent injunction against enforcement of portions of Initiative 594, the 18-page gun control measure that took effect December 4th, alleging that portions of I-594 are so vague that a person of ordinary intelligence cannot understand their scope. Well, actually, they're not so vague. I'm a person of ordinary intelligence, I think, and I know the scope. The scope is universal background checks are soft gun control. They're backdoor gun control. It's a way to deprive you of your liberties. Like, well, we can't take their guns away under the Second Amendment, but we can take them away under the Fourth Amendment. Yeah, exactly. It's not taking guns away. It's not attacking the right to keep and bear arms. It's attacking the Fourth Amendment protections of private property. Yeah. Folks, we're glad that this is happening, and a lot of you guys out there, you say, well, you know, such and such, that law got passed, but it'll never stand muster, or it'll get defeated in the courts, and blah, blah, blah. Why are we even allowing it to get there? Why is it even getting there? I don't know. But folks, that's about all I've got to say about that. We're glad that the people of Washington State have found their cojones. We hope that they're fighting back even more, and we applaud their disobedience to this unconstitutional law. You mean I have the right to disobey an unconstitutional law? Actually, you do. Look it up. Read it. Educate yourself. And if you're not educating yourself, I don't know what to say to you. But folks, if you are out there and you're in the Student of the Gun audience right now, and you're thinking, you look out across the landscape and you see what's going on in New York, what's going on in Maryland, what's going on in Washington State, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Chicago, Kansas, you name it, and you realize, you said, something is wrong. Things are wrong in this country, and we need to make them right. You're also saying to yourself, I know that I should be doing something, but I don't know what that something is. I have this feeling in my gut that I'm not doing as much as I should be doing, but I don't know what to do. I'm frustrated. I got you. I'm with you. We understand that. We understand that there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that feel exactly the way that you do right now. You say to yourself, I know I should be doing something, but I don't know what it is. Here's what I want you to do. I want you, as soon as I stop talking, I want you to take whatever device it is you're using, whether it's a laptop, a mobile phone, an iPad, and I want you to type in the words Patriot Fire Team. Patriot, common spelling, FireTeam.com. Go to patriotfireteam.com. You can put in your first name and your email address, click it, approve it. You'll get the free report, how to get started. What is this all about? I don't know, Paul. I'm scared. I don't want to get on a list. Brother, if you own a gun, if you've ever voted for a Republican, you're already on a list. So quit worrying about being on lists. Worry about your freedom. Worry about your liberty. Worry about the republic. And if you're motivated, if you say, hey, I want to know more, I want you to know more, that's why we put together the book, The Patriot Fire Team, Preserving the Republic 4 Men at a Time. It's available right now in ebook format. You can download it instantly. You sign on, you pay for it, you click the purchase button, and bam, it's right there. You can open it up on your, like I said, your whatever you like to read ebooks on, laptop, iPad, Kindle, you name it. Even if you got one of those cool phones, what do you got? A Note 2 or Note 5 or the Note 57 over there, that big giant thing that you use for a phone, Jared? Whatever that happens to be.
The Note 4.
The Note 4. Yeah, open that up. You can read the book. And the book has step-by-step, what can you do? There's history. There's practicality. Talks about what you need to know, what you should learn, the history behind the militia, behind the training bands, and that goes back way before the Declaration of Independence. Are you a slave? Are you a subject? Or are you a free man? And do you understand what liberty is? And if you're looking for that, we've got it available for you. Just go to patriotfireteam.com, take a look. It might be what you're looking for. All right, ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Student of the Gun Radio. Now, we're trying to schedule a special guest for tomorrow. I don't know if she's going to be able to make it, but so I don't want to say her name just in case we can't. We're trying to work schedules between us and her, but if we can work it out, we'll post it on social media. We'll give you a little bit of a heads up. If we can't do it this week, we'll get her on next week for sure. But we're going to talk about guns and boobies, because those are two things that we here at Student of the Gun truly appreciate. All right, folks, remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.